Hello, mathematicians. Today we're going to be learning about ratios, more specifically, understanding ratios and representing ratios in different forms. To get us started, let's go over the definition of a ratio. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities, which can be represented as a fraction, separated by a colon, or separated by the word to. So let's go over an example so this makes a little more sense. So here I have 4 hearts, I have 3 stars, and I have 7 total shapes because the 4 hearts plus the 3 stars is equal to 7. So when we write ratios, there's a few different types. And one of them is part to part, which means we're comparing two parts. And in this case, we have hearts and we have stars, and those are our 2 parts. So let's start off by writing a ratio of hearts to stars. So here I have 4 hearts and 3 stars. So in order to write that as a ratio in fraction form, we're going to write that as 4 over 3. We're comparing the hearts to the stars, so the hearts is going to be our numerator and the stars is going to be our denominator. Then as a colon, we're also going to keep the same order. It's going to be 4 colon 3 because we're comparing the hearts to the stars. And then using the word to, we're also going to keep this order. It's going to read as 4 to 3. So these are the 3 different ways we could write a ratio comparing the hearts to stars. Now, let's do stars to hearts. So we have 3 stars and 4 hearts, and see here that the order is swapped because we're doing the ratio of stars to hearts. So stars is going to be the numerator now, and hearts is going to be the denominator. Same thing when we use a colon, because we're comparing stars to hearts, the 3 is going to come first. And the same applies when we use the word to. So we wrote a ratio of hearts to stars in 3 different ways using a fraction, a colon, and the word to. And we did the same thing for stars to hearts. Now, we're going to go over a part to whole ratio, which is a comparison of a part to the whole thing. So one of our parts is the hearts, and the whole would be the total. So we're going to write a ratio of hearts to total. And we know that we have 4 hearts and 7 shapes in total. So the ratio is going to be 4 over 7. The 4 comes first because it's hearts to total. Then as a colon, this would be 4 colon 7. And using the word to, it would be 4 to 7. So that is the ratio of hearts to total written in 3 different ways. Next, we have stars to total. We know that there are 3 stars and 7 shapes in total. So this time, a ratio is going to have 3 to 7 because 3 is the stars and 7 is the total. So in fraction form, it's 3 over 7. Then in colon form, it's 3 colon 7. And using the word to, it's 3 to 7. So that these ratios that we have here are comparing a part to the whole thing. And next we have a ratio that's whole to part. So it compares the whole thing to a part. So instead of hearts to total, we have total to hearts. And we're going to write a ratio in 3 different ways for the total to hearts. So we know in total we have 7 shapes. And we know that we have 4 hearts. So in fraction form, that ratio will be 7 over 4. And it's okay that it's an improper looking fraction because we're just writing ratios. It's just a comparison. We're comparing the total to the hearts. We're not writing this as a mixed number. And then with a colon, it's going to be 7:4. And then using the word 2, it's going to be 724. So we're comparing the total to the hearts here. Now let's compare the total to stars. So we know that we have 7 shapes in total, and we have 3 stars. So because the total is first, we're going to do 7/3 because 7 is the total and 3 is the number of stars. Then as a colon, that is 7:3. And then using the word 2, that is 723. So a whole to part ratio is when we take the whole thing and compare it to one part. So here we have a slide with all the information we went over. So we have our definition here, and then we have our part to part ratio, which compares the 2 different parts, in this case the heart and the stars. We have our part to whole ratio, which compares one of the parts, either the hearts or the stars, to the total. And then we have our whole to part ratio, which compares the whole thing to either the hearts or the stars. And that's it.